Welcome to the Caribbean Queen channel. My name is Karen and I am your host for this channel. So I would like to welcome you to come along with me on my journey with the AIP or the autoimmune protocol diet. Sometimes we experience a lot of unexpected side effects and we're really unsure as to what are the causes of these side effects. Side effects such as bloating, gas, abdominal pain, GI irritability, which could involve diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. Some of us have headaches, body aches, swollen joints, joint pain, on and on. The list could be endless. It's hard to sometimes diagnose what these issues are, but one thing I can say for sure, a lot of them are related to our diet. Oh, another thing is food sensitivity. I don't know if you're like me, but I can eat something and within minutes my body is reacting, either with itchy back or I get puffy little marks right here on my cheekbone, or my stomach is immediately distended and my husband's like, "What did you eat?" And sometimes it's as simple as a salad with the wrong dressing, which for me would be ranch. Anyway, if I have said anything so far that will keep you interested, these are side effects or things you have experienced, please subscribe to my channel, like, share, hit the bell for notification, and be sure to drop comments for us to discuss. Maybe there are things I can learn from you and you can learn from me. I don't claim to be an expert in this field. I'm simply sharing my journey, my experiences on what led me to the autoimmune protocol and the diet, which really works, but for a foodie like me, could be considered hell. Asking you to join me as we explore the path to self-healing, discovery, and most of all, health. A little bit about myself. I was born on the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago. Born and raised there for almost half my life. To be honest, I've been living in the United States longer than I have lived in the country that I was born. But a lot of things stand out to me, and there are just some things I will never forget, and I still refer to Trinidad and Tobago as home. My family and I immigrated here to the United States about 30 years ago. I thank God for the opportunity He's blessed us and affording us the chance to move to a country where we can really fulfill our dreams and prosper as God would see fit. With that being said, life on the island was pretty good. So let me tell you a little bit about my family. My lovely parents, they've been married now for 52 years, and they have 3 kids. So there is my baby brother, my sister, and myself. I'm the eldest. And we're kind of scattered across the state of Texas, but we're still a very close-knit family. So life for us was pretty, I would say, laid back, just like the typical family. Mom and dad had their jobs and careers. The kids had school. That was our life. But we moved as a family unit. So mom and dad would get up by like 3 in the morning and prepare hot meals for us to take to lunch. We never really knew what it was to take a sandwich for school lunch. But when we did, it was either like tuna fish or hot dogs. And my dad made this like amazing coleslaw that he would put on the hot dogs. Anyhow, great memories. But most of our school lunches consisted of a hot meal. And then we would all leave together like at 5 in the morning to head down to the capital of the country, which is Port of Spain, because that's where we all worked and went to school. So we moved as a cohesive unit. Therefore, everything was pretty much controlled. And every now and then, my parents would give us allowance or money to buy the cafeteria pizza at school. It was the greasiest, best pizza ever, let me tell you. But my bestie and I, we exchanged lunch a lot because she always had something that seemed to be more interesting to me, and she always wanted the hot meals that my parents cooked. Needless to say, lunchtime at high school was always amazing. And then we had sports days where my dad would actually bring us like Chinese fast food, box lunches. So we looked forward for that as well. So we didn't really eat a lot of processed foods. Our meals were pretty much always farm to table. I remember mom getting up early on a Saturday, my dad taking her to the market. And we would go along as kids, but as we got older, the oldest child would get to stay home and kind of man the house while mom and dad were away. Needless to say, so our Saturdays comprised of mom going to the market, coming back with all the fresh produce, and then they would go to the farm and get like the eggs and the fresh chicken. So everything was pretty much organic, naturally grown, farm to table, like I said. We did have occasions where we were spoiled, and it's every now and then like we would eat out, mainly on a weekend. So it'll start like a Friday where my dad would take us like to the park and we'll get ice cream and we'll buy roti from the food truck vendors. And then on Saturday was really our big day for celebration. Well, not celebration, just for family outings, where we would go to the mall and go grocery shopping. And we definitely knew ice cream and or pizza, or ice cream and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Side note, Kentucky Fried Chicken in Trinidad and Tobago is the best tasting Kentucky Fried Chicken in the world. Yes, I said it. Anyway, everything was freshly made, from our sofrito, all the fresh ground green seasonings. My mom seasoned all the meat. We had lavish home cooked meals, and we really didn't eat out a lot. We did get snacks and different what we consider treats, special treats, because for the holidays, like we got the really nice gourmet cookies and chocolates. But for just everyday life, we had what was like your version of plain M&Ms and peanut M&Ms. So it will be what we call chairs or ping pongs. And that was some of the candy bars or candy that we had. Or we would have like y'all's version of Oreo cookies, but they were like vanilla cookies with the cream inside. But those were on rare occasions because my mom didn't believe in giving us all the refined sugar. So those were treats that we would get every now and then in our lunch bag or on the weekend for snacks. But a lot of stuff was homemade. And then on Saturdays, mom would bake homemade bread, coconut sweet bread, sponge cakes, and we are English colonized, so a lot of English influence, so a lot of scones and things like that, or what we call drops were what were like coconut scones with raisins in them. It was just amazing. So again, our exposure to processed foods was very limiting. Let's fast forward a little. So we did eat things like, as we got older, we got a little bit more responsibility where we'll be hanging with our friends in the evening on the corner, and they will go get treats from their home and we would bring treats from our home. So those were fun times because we indulged in a little different things like preserved fruit, or just different little local delicacies, right? And that was as much exposure as we had to processed food. When mom was working late, I was always in charge of cooking. Dad could cook, but my food tasted better, right? Because I was able to dissect something I had eaten, figured out what the flavors were, and recreate it. Needless to say, I started cooking so I would make more like pasta dishes with the cream-based sauce, lasagna with all the gooey cheese. So we ate salads, we ate vegetables, yes, of course, but it was more so really like an afterthought, for me anyway. Mom and Dad made sure it was incorporated into the meal. And then we would have like taco night, burritos, you name it, we were eating it. As time went on, eating all the bad food really started taking its toll. So I started going to one of my my OBGYN, who was also a member at the church that we were attending at the time. And she started explaining functional medicine. She was moving into functional medicine. So she started testing and doing more labs for various types of disease processes, just looking for different things that a regular blood panel would not give you. Needless to say, in 2013, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and she's the one that gave me the results of the blood work, right? My thyroid levels were all out of whack, and she also put me on selenium because, again, functional medicine doctor, you tend to want to go the more natural route for healing the body. She did refer me to an endocrinologist, and thank God when I went to him, because I was already on selenium and he did some blood work, he compared the labs that he did to the labs that my functional medicine doctor did, and saw that the selenium was working to slightly lower and kind of balance out my thyroid levels. So he opted to leave me on the selenium. He said for me to continue to do the selenium for at least a month, and then based on how the results were after he does more labs, he will know whether or not he needed to put me on the Synthroid. I am very grateful he did not put me on the Synthroid. Yes, the more natural supplements do work, but they take a little longer. But luckily, within 1 month of me going back, he did see some improvement. So with that, functional medicine doctor, I would see her every year for follow-up, of course, the OBG part, and then she basically checked me for everything. So really, there was no need for me to go to my PCP. With me having Hashimoto's, she also would request an ultrasound of the thyroid because just to make sure it wasn't enlarged or anything like that. Unfortunately, for one of those tests, she did notice, or the results of the ultrasound came back where there was like a shadow or something on my thyroid, and of course there was cause for concern. I made an appointment with one of our local oncology hospitals, and they did a series of tests. I had to get more scans done, and thank God it was just a shadow on my thyroid. There was no growth or anything on there. So as time went on, my labs were starting to show that my body was very, very inflamed. Side note, there is a history of cardiac and diabetes on the paternal side of the family. So my doctor was very concerned, knowing that there's a history of cardiac issues, and she saw where my body was very inflamed, and And unfortunately, the labs for a possible cardiac event was kind of on the upper side of normal. So she started putting me on supplements to help minimize inflammation, kind of changing my diet. And I started going along that path, but it didn't really seem profitable or helpful at the time. So let me say this. I had tried every possible diet. Didn't understand why I was gaining weight. Yes, I'm the thicker child of the three, but still, the weight gain, the bloating, the puffiness, it was just unbelievable. And there was no real reason, or there wasn't anything I could put my finger on to denote as to why I was having these side effects or these symptoms, right? So it was finally diagnosed that I had leaky gut. And if any of you are familiar with that term, you would know that it has to deal with like the walls of your intestines, like having little holes where the food is actually seeping out. But I'll go over that later in another video. If you're liking what I'm talking about so far, you can actually connect to these symptoms and these issues. Please subscribe to my channel, drop a comment, and we can discuss. I would love to meet you, and we can share your journey as well. So as time progressed, as a matter of fact, like 3 years ago, I went to the restroom at work. I don't know what I was doing. I bent over and had this really sharp pain, like in the left side, kind of middle range of my abdomen. And the pain, it went on for quite some time. It was kind of unsettling. At that point, I contacted my primary care physician, made an appointment. She did a CAT scan, did other tests, and it came back that I had diverticulosis. Can't remember which one, but one of those. I'll clarify later. And of course, I had to change my diet, but I attributed all of that to leaky gut syndrome, right? So I went back, saw my functional medicine doctor, told her what was going on, shared the labs with her and everything. And that's when we decided that I really needed to go on the autoimmune protocol diet. Autoimmune protocol is exactly what it says, right? It has familiarities with the paleo diet, but autoimmune is way more strict. Let me tell you guys, for the first couple of weeks that I was doing this diet, I cried pretty much every day. It's one of those things where you have to cook every day, pretty much, because you're eating all fresh foods, and just switching the mindset from eating whatever you like, yummy, cheesy, rich, tasty foods, to basically vegetables and meat. That in itself was mind-blowing. Oh, let me rewind. Prior to the diagnosis of diverticulosis, I had an allergy test done because it seemed like my body was overloaded. Everything I ate had a cause and effect. I had 100 needle sticks on my back. And not kidding. When the final diagnosis came back, basically, no lie, all I should be eating was water, if you can eat water. I was allergic to chicken. I was allergic to eggs. I was allergic to dairy. You name it, I had food sensitivity for all of it. Gluten, nuts or tree nuts, you name it, it was there. It got to the point where I did not know what to eat, what to do with myself. I resorted to drinking coffee, because, it cuts your appetite, water, maybe eating one meal a day, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, things like that, because I did not know anymore what to do. I started doing smoothies by J.J. Smith. I was following the smoothie 10-day green smoothie diet that she had written up. That would work for like 3 days, and then my body would be itchy because I was allergic to the berries or the peaches. Let me tell you, it was ridiculous. It was very, very hard for me to figure out what I can eat, how I could feed my body nutrients, feel satisfied when I had a meal without having some adverse effect to what I ate. Again, if you're enjoying this conversation and you would like to come along on this journey, please be sure to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell for notifications, drop a comment below so you can come on this journey with me and I can see what your experiences were regarding this topic. As I put out more content, I will be discussing all the aspects of my journey, including a detailed description of what the autoimmune protocol is. Check me at the next release for details regarding the AIP diet. Thanks for joining me on my journey today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, drop a comment below, and remember, until we meet again, stay classy, cultured, and healthy.